Alright, everyone, listen up. Let's make this easy. Knees on the ground, hands to the floor, nobody move.
Hey, you. Yeah, okay, listen. I'm trained for this. I have a degree in accounting. So look, I'm gonna go distract you. You call the police, okay? Okay, good plan. Break.
Halt, evil this. Your degree is the only valuable thing you get from college. Not the process of getting the degree, what you learned along the way, not the title, the paper itself. And there are exactly 3 reasons why you should ever get that paper, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Now you might think I'm a little crazy. I think that's unrelated. What I want is that instead of you running open arms like a kid to their parents towards college and only choosing to see one side of it like commentary YouTubers trying to find the next person to publicly eviscerate for $20, you instead squint your eyes a little bit. Remember those times when you were younger and you used to look at kids who bought Supreme shirts for hundreds of dollars just for the name brand? Look where we are now. So, let me make something clear. I made a pretty bold statement, implying that you don't learn anything from college. And I'm in college, so I can tell you I didn't learn shit. And while you might say I'm a hypocrite, Pix, why are you doing this? If your whole plan is against college, then why are you attending it? I think that's unrelated and field research. And for the people who are in college, I ask you ever get that moment of clarity? It's usually in between your college professor ranting on about his week in the Bahamas versus the 3-page essay he assigned you the fish he saw, that your spirit aligns, your brain clears, and then you just wonder to yourself, why am I here? This is not worth my money. Regardless, this notion a few decades ago was just wrong. Hear me out, a higher education was a rarity back then because there was really no other way of gaining that information besides looking at like books and libraries that King Tut was walking in. You didn't really have a good way of understanding the world around you besides, well, word of mouth. And the most wordy mouths went to college. For an affordable price, you could gain all of that knowledge from the people who did all that boring stuff for you. Okay, you following? Cool. So just to keep track now, there's a reasonable cost for a very valuable resource, value being equated by the laws of supply and demand. So now that we have that understanding, I raise you, I don't know. The internet, to be blunt, contains pretty much all of human history ever recorded. And colleges know this too. Most of the assignments you do are on the internet anyways, which is just really ironic. But I can look up whatever I want, whenever I want, all the time. So what do I really get from college in 2025? 1. Social experiences and opportunities to make friends. 2. The luxury of having someone explain concepts that might be difficult to you. And 3, your degree. Okay, the issue with the first one, right, is that no friends are worth a college tuition. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, not sorry. I think that's a very reasonable thing. But you could just go outside. Secondly, having good college professors can explain hard concepts, can make you understand the material better, and all of that. That's good. It kind of falls into the same problem that the education does, though, where there's better free resources. You can see all that stuff on YouTube for $0, 0 cents, and an ad for Febreze. And YouTube's just better in general because having a professor could be a double-edged sword, because if you have a bad professor, you could be actively in a process of unlearning or having your opinion swayed on a certain topic. Always research your professors, by the way, kids. Which just leaves the degree. Now look, I'm not saying college doesn't do anything. It's provided me a lot of stress and anxiety. I'm saying it does things that are entirely obsolete, except those 3 things that, we'll get to in a second. But because those things are obsolete, it doesn't give me any capacity of why I should trust it. Why not I just gather a list of things I wanted to learn that day and look it up myself? I'm sure it would be faster than an hour lecture class for every single thing. The degree is the milk in the back of the grocery store that is purposefully inconveniencing to get so that they can find things to bill you along the way. I have to pay for my own textbooks when I already paid money for my class. This is what I would say if I pay for textbooks. If you know, you know. So you're probably thinking to yourself, why would people go to college, Pix? That makes no sense. They would get into debt, they would do all these things. It just doesn't add up. But let's go back to thing number 3. Come on, drum roll, everybody. Your degree. You see, this piece of paper isn't just dead tree or a title, it's a promise. A promise that if you give some years of your life and thousands of dollars, you will be able to get a financially stable job. At the very least, it tells businesses that you're ready to take on the new world, or something along those lines. In the end, even if you haven't felt like you've learned anything, you can use your degree as a key to Elysium in your 9-to-5 stable job. One thing though. Unemployment rates between college graduates and not have become staggeringly close. And I'm starting to see this new job experience thing showing up on all the things I'm trying to check out. And you see, this is mainly caused by two things. One, how popular college is, and two, how picky companies can get. Not many people tell you this, but everybody goes to college. It's the norm. It gets fed to you from the moment you can walk. But the idea is that you have this qualification, the leg up on the competition. But the problem is, everybody got that leg. And what does Syndrome say? If everyone is super,
No one will be.
so a degree isn't actually helping you stand out from the competition, but rather it's like your raffle ticket to actually have a chance of getting in. It merely gives you an opportunity to try to sell yourself to multi-billion-dollar companies who want to suck your soul out with a straw. They don't care about your degree, and honestly, I don't blame them. There's people who can't read who've gotten bachelor's degrees. They needed a new way to thin down the numbers. That way, you know, they wouldn't keep having to read the job applications of people who dared to feed their families. Hey, my mom, she's kind of homeless, and I really need this job. Hurry. Yeah, we don't need him. Just, tell him that we'll let him know if an opportunity is available. We just ran out of positions. Ooh, this guy worked at McDonald's? Matter of fact, this was such a problem that they held a press conference about it. Big corpo, everyone. There was panic, squealing. They were trying to figure out what to do, and then one lowly intern raised his hand. He said at the top of his voice, "Okay, hear me out. I have a genius idea. Why don't we tell them that they need experience in a field to get a job in that same field? Come on now." And everyone applauded. He was handed an island almost immediately, and apparently he flies women out there regularly for job experience. There are job requirements everywhere. It's put on everything. Even on entry-level jobs, which is probably some of the most evil thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Effectively entirely ruining the benefit of a degree, which is stability. It's very likely that you could still have a higher education and lose out on your job to someone who's just spent that time getting experience in the field. You could really learn something from Forrest Gump, you know? You get really good at something, it will take you places, 100%. And there are a lot of high-paying jobs that don't actually need much qualification in terms of education. Like architecture. You always need somebody to lug stuff around, right? But I hate, oh my gosh, I hate it so much when people put a weight on getting any kind of degree, even one that you don't use or don't want to use. The education department, your family, your friends, and your teachers will try everything in their power to convince you that this is the only means to an end. When one of these videos blow up, I will never have to work a regular job again in my life. You want to help that happen, right? Because you're a good person, you like my videos, and you would like me to keep making videos, right? Yeah, oh, I'm touched. You know, I heard some guy on the corporate ladder say that subscribing is good for your resume. I don't want to sound hypocritical, right? I've been kind of holding this 3 thing over your head for the whole video. I'm still in college for a reason. And even though I think in general you could pretty much guess my opinion on it, I don't want to be that guy who's only attacking one side of the argument and not giving you a fair trial. Because, you know, I love ya. Consensually. No homo. For starters, right now your degree is about as much worth as 4-ply toilet paper, meaning it's just good enough to clean up your crap. However, that might not be the case forever. God might come down one day, change the meta a little bit, and degrees will be held with the same reverence that they once were. And guess what? You will have yours, because no one can take that away from you. Number 2, if you have a little bit of a complex job you're interested in, not to mention, I don't think I mentioned it before, if you do not know what you want to do for college, if you're not dead set on a job, do not go to college. Now listen, this is the point. Do not go to college if you do not know what you want to do with your life. That's how we get English majors. You don't want to be an English major. But yeah, if the job you're going for is a little bit complex, like medicine or law, then I really do recommend you do go to college. For starters, you're just not gonna get employed if you don't have a degree, but also, these things pertain to human lives. This isn't something where you can be skeptical about the realm of knowledge that your peers or coworkers have. Lastly, and this is probably the most petty on the list, for bragging rights. Now hear me out. No, you might have just cringed. I seen that. Remember how I equated this with Supreme earlier? It's like the equivalent of having Gucci belts on you at all times, you know what I mean? You could use the lies and persuasions that people tell you to get into college to use against people who haven't been to college to stress why you're better than them because you have been to college. It's not a good reason, but it's a reason, you know. I needed 3. 3 sounds nice. It can help you look nice at Thanksgiving, I guess. Yeah, you know, I heard this other guy, he had an accounting degree and he stopped a bank robbery, you know that? Didn't you ask me to split on the turkey? That's just At the end of the day, do whatever you want with your life. My problem only arises where people would trick you to weigh and to hold a degree with such a weight that it really doesn't have. It's important for everyone to know that it will not guarantee your future like it did before. I believe Jim Carrey said this best, but it is totally possible for you to fail at something you don't want to do. So go for the big one, follow your dreams and all that corny stuff. And if the method of that is college, then more power to you. Like the video if you like the video. Have a good day. By the way,